to the Real Estate Scripts Podcast, the show that helps you know what to say when you're talking to buyers and sellers so that you can close more deals and earn more money. I'm Darren Tunstall, a real estate professional, coach, and #1 best-selling author. Let's get into this. Good morning and what's up, y'all? This is Darren Tunstall with the Real Estate Scripts Podcast. Today, we are reviewing lead generation, open houses, qualifying open house visitors as potential buyers and or sellers. So I think you're going to enjoy this episode. Let's dive right in. As a reminder, the purpose of Scripts and Dialogues is to come, learn, practice, and be prepared to fail forward. This is where we make mistakes and help each other out, but we're mostly interested in seeing how we can get better. First, we read through the script word for word, and then we go back and put it into our own natural tone, style, and phrasing. You won't know what to say until you go through the script. So, with that said, many people will say, that's not how I sound, and I totally get it. That's not how you sound. But that is the reason why we practice every day, so that the script becomes you and in your own voice. So read it word for word first, then go back and put it into your own natural tone, style, and phrasing, and I think it'll work out. Just want to mention real quick, yesterday it was Emily and Stephanie that did a recording on the full listing presentation yesterday. And I got to say, it turned out really awesome. And you should really go back and listen to that one. It will be released today. Well, tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. Sorry. So you should really go back and listen to it because they did a really good job at going through the full script, which, by the way, is in the book. And it's also available on the site, just not in the normal area. So I have to point that out at some point, but it is in the book and it's called Full Listing Presentation. And just wanted to point that out. They did an amazing job. So
thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it was good. It was really good. And I think anybody who gets a hold of that and at least uses it as a guide and then puts it in your own tone, style, and phrasing, I think you're going to set yourself up for a lot of wins when it comes to going on listing appointments. So today this whole week is all about lead generation. And today we're talking about open houses and specifically qualifying open house visitors as potential buyers and sellers. So let me go ahead and set the stage for this. In this scenario, a real estate agent interacts with a potential buyer or seller at an open house. The agent's goal is to establish a connection, gather information about the visitor's real estate needs, and schedule an appointment for further discussion. Requirements are strong communication skills, active listening ability, empathy and interpersonal skills, knowledge of local real estate market. The intention is to engage open house visitors in meaningful conversations, understand their real estate needs, and encourage them to consider becoming a dedicated client. And after that is the script. So just out of curiosity, before we get started, who here has done open houses?
I have.
I've done a few.
Okay. So this script is scripts and dialogues are typically, just to point this out, is typically like in a perfect world, this is how it's going to go. And as a reminder, we typically practice in a very positive light, not too many objections. The reason why is because we want to practice win. Because if we're constantly practicing negative and nothing but objections, then we're feeling like we're going to go into the scenario as a loss already. So we want to practice with a winning mindset. That said, we do practice objections where the negatives do come out, the pushbacks do come out, and there is a time and place for that. But the majority of the time we're practicing this, and then we do incorporate it. Like yesterday, I will say, with the full listing presentation, there were a few objections interjected into there, and they did an amazing job at handling those. So it's okay. I'm just saying, this is how we practice the majority of the time. Sound fair?
Absolutely.
Cool.
I guess.
I guess. Yeah, I'm not. It is okay to push back. I'm just saying, let us win. We need to win. We need to feel that
Absolutely.
win,
Yeah.
right?
I agree.
Cool. Right on. All right. So, Derek, since you're new today, we're gonna have you do it for sure, but we're gonna have you observed first to see how it goes, and then we'll give you a shot at it when we're finished. So I'm going to have um Jamon start. He'll talk to Emily. Emily, you'll talk to Derek, and then Derek, you'll talk to Jamon. How does that sound for today?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Cool. All right. And whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. Hello. Welcome to the open house. I'm glad you can make it. So my name is Jamon Morgan, and I'm the listing agent for this property. Quick question: have you had a chance to look around?
Not yet. I kind of looked at the front. It looks nice.
Yeah, this is a beautiful house. I'm glad you think so. Uh, it's a great property with a lot to offer. Now, are you currently in the market to buy a new home, or are you considering selling a property?
I'm looking for my next home because the one I'm in a condo right now, so I'm looking for a single family house.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So you're on the move. Well, I'd be happy to help you with that. Selling a home and finding a new one, it can be quite the journey. So could you tell me just a bit more about what you're looking for in your new home? What are some of the features that are, most important to you and your family?
Well, definitely space and a
Mhm.
yard. A place where we can have family gatherings in the backyard. Like I said, right now I'm in a condo, so it doesn't really give me much room for that unless it's in the common areas. So I kind of just want my own space. And like I said, a little more of an open layout, a little more room, and just that outdoor space that I've been wanting to have. I think I can finally afford it now.
Well, that's a good thing that you get definitely you're ready to expand. Kind of like you need some elbow room, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Well, an open layout and outdoor space can really enhance your living experience. And it sounds like you enjoy hosting gatherings. So I can certainly help you find properties that match your criteria. Now, by the way, have you considered what your timeline looks like for selling your current home and making a move?
Um, well, I'm not sure where to start.
Hmm.
But I would kind of like to move in the next 6 months or so. Um, but I'm kind of in the early stages. I'm just kind of looking to see what's out there. I know mortgage rates are high, so if I were to go into a new house, I got to make sure it's the right place. And
Totally understood. It's good. Like you're ahead of the curve. And as far as the mortgage rates, we can be creative. There's a lot of creative ways to tackle that situation. So planning ahead is always a smart move. Now, if you're comfortable, I love to set up more in-depth conversation about your real estate goals and just how I can assist you with those. We can discuss your timeline, your preferences, and any questions that you might have. How does that sound?
well, that sounds great. I could definitely use some help because this is kind of a little bit of a scary process. Even though I bought the condo, I mean, buying a house, that's a big girl move.
Yeah, definitely that's a huge step, huge jump, but it's doable. It's definitely doable, and that's what we're here for, to kind of make that process more smoother and streamlined. Now, I'm here to provide you with the support that you need. Let's exchange contact information. I'll reach out to you to set up a convenient time for our discussion. Does that work for you?
Okay. Yeah. Here, I'll write down my email and my phone number right here. I live like in the area over off Fletcher Parkway, so I'm
Oh,
not that
awesome.
far away.
Yeah, cool. So that works. Well, thank you for your email and your phone number. I'll definitely be in touch very soon. But in the meantime, here I'm gonna give you my email address and number. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have about this property or the real estate market in general.
Thanks, Jamon.
You're very welcome. You have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the tour.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. So one of the best times to set up that appointment is to go immediately after the open house. You know what? As soon as I'm finished with this, I'll drop by your house and we can have a quick chat. if they're
Okay.
available, obviously, but just to point
Right.
that out real quick.
Okay.
Or to schedule one right there and as well.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
just as a reference point as well, if you have not done scripts and dialogues, I highly suggest just reading through it word for word. And you did a great job. I'm just making a point for other people who might be listening. Read it word for word at first, and then you go back and internalize it, and then you customize it in your own tone, style, and phrasing.
Okay.
Simultaneously, this is for everyone. Simultaneously, leave space for people to answer questions. And even though that we're reading from the script, sometimes the person on the other side that we're practicing with may not answer how the script is written. So really be listening, because, for example, if she did not own the condo, she might have been renting the condo. So then instead of when would you like to sell your condo and make the move, the question would have been, how much more time do you have on your lease?
Mhm.
See? So I'm just saying, sometimes people switch it up here and there. So even though we're in practice, we have to be listening. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and have Emily practice with Derek. So Derek, you are the visitor to the open house.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
All righty. Hi there.
Hi.
Welcome to the open house. So glad you could stop by. My name's Emily. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. I am the listing agent for this property. Hi, come on in.
Hi, thank you. I'm
How long
sorry.
have you been looking?
How long have I been looking? So I've been looking for about 6 months now.
Have you made any offers yet?
I have not made any offers. I'm at the beginning phases and I'm just trying to look at some properties.
Okay, so you are in the market to buy a new home, so that's awesome. Where do you live right now? Are you live in the area or are you coming from out of the area?
I do live in the area. I live in North Park right now. I have a townhome with a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. I'd like to find something similar, but that's a better fit for our needs.
Okay, so you're looking more for a single family home now?
Yeah, we're looking for a single family home at this point with a little bit more space, and preferably a yard at that point.
Yeah, right. So is it just you or is it you and your family, your pets?
Yeah, actually, I'm married and I have an 8-year-old daughter, and she goes to school in Mission Hills. So ideally, I'd like to stay in this area.
Okay, awesome. So how do you like this house? Do you think this might be a good fit for you? It's got a lot of outdoor space.
I've noticed that. Absolutely. I do. I think I like this house. It's very nice.
Mm-hmm. So your townhouse, do you own it or are you renting?
I do. I've owned it for 16 years now.
Wow.
We are finally starting to outgrow it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that happens. But you know what? If since you've had it for 16 years, I bet you have a lot of equity in your home, and that's going to help you so much when you go to purchase, this home or something similar.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I do believe we have about, $400,000 in equity at the moment.
Wow, that's awesome. So tell me, what's your timeline as far as, making the move?
I was thinking, within 6 months. I know this process takes a little time. And we're still kind of in the early stages. I'm out here by myself. My wife's not with me, obviously. So I'm kind of doing a little legwork, and then she's gonna follow up with me.
Mm-hmm. Well, this house is priced pretty well. I think it's going to go quickly, but planning ahead is always a smart move. If you're comfortable, I'd love to set up a more in-depth conversation about your real estate goals and how I can assist you. We can discuss your timeline a little bit more, preferences. I'd love to meet your wife, so we're all on the same page. Any questions you might have, something like that. How does that sound?
That actually sounds really good. It sounds like a great idea, and I could really use some guidance in the process. It's been a long time since I've had to purchase a home.
Right. And it's, you know what, everything's changed in the last, you said you've been there 17 years?
Yeah, 16, almost 17 years now.
Yeah, a lot has changed in the process. Well, I'm here to provide you with any support you need. Let's exchange contact information. How about we set up an appointment right now? Do you have time later today? Where is your wife going to be at home, or what works for you guys?
Yeah, it's Saturday afternoon. My wife is home at the moment. We could definitely. I would just have to double check with her, but I think I could set up an appointment later today.
Okay. Oh yeah, just let me get your address. I'll stop by. It'll be a quick chat just to kind of, so we're all, like I said, I'm all on the same page. And I'll talk you through the process of how I can market your townhome, so you get the most amount of money in the least amount of time and get you into a new single family home with all that yard space for your daughter.
Yeah, yeah. Here, I could give you my
Sound good?
address, my telephone number, and an email address so you can send me some information with some homes in the area.
Perfect. Okay, well, I'm going to be here till about 3 o'clock. How does 4:30 sound if I stop by your house and meet the family?
Yeah, let's just schedule 4:30 and I will and we'll be available at that time frame.
I'll call before I come just to make sure we're all good. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you later today. And, check out the house. Let me know if you have any feedback as far as, how you feel about the layout, the yard space, the garage, the neighborhood, because I would love to have that just to provide to my seller. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you
It was
so much.
nice meeting you, Derek. Thank you
You
so
too.
much. And I'll see you later today.
Sounds good.
Awesome. I think there's a little bit of a delay somewhere.
My internet connection, it keeps popping up that it's unstable. So maybe that's why.
Oh, I
I
got
don't
you.
know.
You're the culprit.
I was a little
I
lag, but
think so.
I think we
I
did.
don't know.
Don't worry about it. It
Yeah, there was like a lag. I'm
there
like,
was a
"Oh."
there was a couple of glitches here and there, but for the most part, it worked out pretty good. So, Derek, how do you feel about that? Being the new guy on the block, how did you feel, being on the receiving end of that so far?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to your points of kind of going by the script, but I feel like on the receiving side, you have to ad lib a little bit. I felt like it went natural. I thought she did a great job in kind of continuing the process and getting more information out of me, along with setting the appointment after the open house, like you just mentioned, and just pleasant to talk to.
I'm glad you brought that up because that is the reason why we wrote the script the way that it is written. Meaning that they're more or less when the agent is talking, these are prompts for you to just sort of ad lib, like you said. It's not always going to go, perfect in how the script is written. So we want to give you that little bit of flexibility, but simultaneously, like I mentioned in the beginning, being able to allow the agent for practicing purposes and mindset purposes to win, right? Like I mentioned, there is times where we push back. But yeah, that is the reason why we want you to ad lib. We want you to, and we want her to be thinking. We want Jamon to be, thinking about what it is that how they have to respond, and it is active listening to your clients in this situation. So,
And why am I talking?
And why am I talking? Yes, that's right. We have an acronym that when you're talking to people and having a conversation with, whether it's a client, an agent to agent conversation, your broker, your spouse, all right, put on their forehead, look at their forehead and spell the word in all caps, WAIT, wait. Look at their forehead and look at that and spell out wait, WAIT. And wait means, like Emily said, why am I talking?
And what's the metaphor for that? Is it just to be a better listener?
Yes. Yes, we want to be the ones asking the questions and we just sit back and listen because those who are asking the questions are actually the ones in control of the conversation. And the more information gathering that we can get from them, then the more that we are preparing ourselves to respond in a certain way, which, by the way, is another benefit to practicing scripts and dialogues every single day. When you practice every single day, every single day, every single day, even if it's the same script over and over and over and over again, what you're actually doing is preparing yourself to be conditioned to listen, and because you already have a response, it might be canned, right, here and there, but you already have a formulated response for a lot of things that might already come up, so that you won't have to think about it too much. You can just respond after they talk to you. Like for example, we talked earlier, about someone who has a home they're thinking about buying, they live in a condo. Perfect. The question is do you own it or are you renting right now? Okay, well, I own it. Awesome. What's the timeline? Or I'm renting. Perfect. How much time do you have on your lease? These are just simple things that we can respond to because we have practiced it 100 times, 1,000 times. It's like, I mean, to bring sports into it, it's like basketball players or football players. When you hear that people like Michael Jordan are the best of the best, it's because he's made the shot, tens of thousands of times. So it's the same scenario. It's just that's what we're practicing here.
But they had to miss a lot of shots to get on their shot.
That's right. I think the stat is actually they failed more than they actually made, right? Because they've made so many shots, are willing to take that shot in order to get that point and just add it to their stats.
Hey, Darren, I have a quick question. At the beginning of us doing open houses, obviously there's a lot of information in this particular script. Do you recommend us bringing a small book with some questions on it so we don't forget? Or is it kind of just, if you did forget, you just have to go back and ask those questions during the appointment?
Emily, what would you do?
Maybe have like a little cheat sheet of just bullet points. Write down, because when you write it down, rather than bringing something already printed, you're going to remember it better. Mm-hmm. So just write down what you want to ask. Like, how long have you been looking? Are you working with an agent? Mm-hmm. Have you already been pre-approved? Can I help you get a lender? Things like those, just bullet points to ask. And then if somebody sees your notes, they won't know what it means. It'll just say lender, agent,
right?
Timeline, and they won't know what that means. But you'll know it's your prompt to ask those questions. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. And then, you just go back and maybe make some notes after that conversation.
Mm-hmm. And on my sign-in sheet, after they leave, I'll write little notes next to their name. Like, do they have an agent? I'll put an A.
Yeah.
Or if they come without their wife, like in your situation, I'll write their wife's name down if they tell me what it is. Or even if only one of them signs in. That way, when I go back to call them, I'm like, oh, how are you and Jennifer doing?
Yeah.
I'd love to meet you guys, whatever. So that way you have their name and there's more of that connection. So I make little notes after they leave.
Perfect.
You reminded me of something that a lot of stand-up comedians do. And I know this because I did stand-up comedy for about 3 years of my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But if you'll notice, a lot of new comics, including seasoned ones too, mostly with the seasoned ones when they're trying out brand new material, but brand new comics, for example, if they have a water bottle, you'll notice a lot of them have a water bottle on stage. Well, they'll put a little note right here, and I did this many times, and it could be a water bottle, it could be your recorder, it could be the back of your phone, it could be anything, but just having something like exactly like what Emily just said, and they have a little set list on there, and the set list is just the jokes, and they're exactly what she said. They're just little keywords to remind the comic or remind the agent of what are some things that I need to remember in order to help keep this flowing. And you can just simply have that. And, once you hold it, you're covering it up. So cheat sheets, they work big time. Yeah. So I highly recommend that. So next time you watch a stand-up comic, and they're fairly new or looking for new material, just look at their surroundings. I guarantee you, it's always written somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Promise you
I
that.
see prompters
The
at
back of
times.
your hand.
Yeah. All right, Derek. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna
Okay.
have you talk to Jamon. Jamon is your open house visitor, and whenever you are ready.
Okay. Welcome to the open house. I'm glad you can make it. My name is Derek, and I'm the listing agent for this property. Have you had a chance to look around?
I have. I've looked at other homes, and I think this one is really nice. I like the yard.
I'm glad you think so. It's a great property with a lot to offer. Are you currently in the market to buy a new home, or are you considering selling a property?
Derek, what I'm doing right now is I'm really thinking about selling my current home and finding something that better fits our needs.
Oh, that's great. I'd be happy to help you with that. Selling a home and finding a new one can be quite a journey. Could you tell me a bit more about what you're looking for in a new home? What are some of the features that are important to you and your family?
Well, our family has grown here in the past few years. We got a new addition to the family, so I'm definitely looking for an extra room because I want to keep my home office. So maybe like a 3 or 4 bedroom and just some bigger, more yard space. That's kind of why I like this house. I want more yard space for my kids to be able to play.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the new addition to your family. And I agree, a layout and open door space can really enhance your living experience. And it sounds like you enjoy hosting gatherings. I can certainly help you find properties that match your criteria. By the way, have you considered what your timeline looks like for selling your current home and making a move?
Uh, so basically, I want to move within the next 6 months there. And right now, I'm just kind of in the early stages of getting everything together, but 6 months is sort of my timeline.
6 months sounds great. I think planning ahead is always a smart move. If you're comfortable, I'd love to set up a more depth in conversation about your real estate goals, how I can assist you. We can discuss your timeline, preferences, and any questions you might have. Um, are you available? Oh, sorry. How does that sound?
I think that sounds really good. And I definitely can use some guidance in this process.
Awesome. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you through the guidance. I'm here to provide you the support you need. Let's exchange contact information, and I'll reach out to you to set up a convenient time to discuss the next move. Are you available later today or tomorrow?
You know what, Derek? You can definitely stop by later on. I should be at home for the rest of the day, and I'll give you my email and my phone number so you can contact me.
That would be amazing. And would your family be there? Would your wife be there? And if you don't mind me asking, what's your wife's name?
My wife's name is Jenny. She will be there, and all my kids be there. We're just gonna sit around and watch movies and have popcorn today.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much. I'll be in touch with you very soon. And in the meantime, feel free to ask me any questions over the next few hours that you might have about this particular property that I could do some research on, or any real estate market in general.
Awesome. Thank you, Derek. I will do that.
My pleasure. I'll see you later today.
See you later.
Awesome. How'd you feel, Derek?
I actually felt pretty good. I think in my nature is to go maybe a little bit off script and elaborate more. But to your point, I was trying to really stick to it. But I felt it's great. And to your point, it's all about the repetition.
It is. And not one of these scripts will ever sound like you. Not one of them will ever do that. It's the idea of practicing it consistently over time so that you can put it in your own voice and tone, style, and phrasing.
Yeah.
Just before we end here, I have two questions that I think a lot of people would be asking. One is, what do you say if you were not the listing agent for that particular home? You're just hosting an open house. What do you say?
That's a
This is
really
for
good point.
this is for everyone.
I don't say anything unless they ask me, are you the listing agent? And then I say, no, I'm showing for Darren. I'm showing the house for him.
Yeah.
but I'm working with any buyers that are interested. I say something like that.
Right. So in the beginning, so for example, it says, welcome to the open house. I'm glad you can make it. My name is Darren and I'm the listing agent. You could actually just rephrase it. My name is Darren, and I'm hosting the open house for this property. Have you had a chance to look around? Or my name is Darren. Have you had a chance to look around?
That's all I do. Yeah.
Because they already know that they're at an open house.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And you don't have to let them know up front that you're not the listing agent.
No.
No.
Okay.
The only place that you're going to really do that is when you're doing like flyers for door knocking. You want to make sure that you give credit where credit is due, and list it. There's some specific requirements that our broker at least has. If you're listening to this, your broker might have specific requirements, so you might want to check in on that. Second question is, what do you say if if the visitor already has an agent? If they have an agent, you've asked them, and I know Emily asked this. I think you asked this. I can't remember. But if they tell you that they already have an agent, how do you respond to that?
I say, how long have you been under contract? I said, who are they? I ask who they are. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if I know them. Or, oh, yeah, I know them. How long have you been under contract?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're not under contract, then they're not.
Exactly.
Well, that's a good point. Because if they are, a lot of people will say, first of all, a lot of agents out there don't put their clients under a contract, a buyer representation agreement. And why that is, I have no idea. In my opinion, you're protecting your time and the money that you're going to make with them, but more importantly, the time that you spend with them. With that said, if they tell you they have an agent and they also tell you that they're not under contract, then you have the opportunity to talk to them about working with you. If they tell you that they are under contract and they truly are, then be helpful. Just come from a place of contribution, and you can still hand them your business card. And if your agent should have any information that they want to ask, they're welcome to call you and talk to you agent to agent. We don't just kick them out of the open house because they're not our client.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Anyways, that's about it for today. Anything else that anyone wants to add to this?
Just happy to be here.
Okay, cool. Jamon, you look like you're really noodling on something, like you're really thinking about something here.
I'm writing what you're saying. Ask questions. If they have an agent, I was writing those notes down. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure we answer everyone's questions.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is good.
Cool. Right on. All right, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds
Bye.
good.
Thanks, Darren.
Yep. Thank you. Bye. All right. So that's the script. I hope that you found it useful. Just head over to realestatescriptspractice.com for more resources and downloads. This podcast is for the purpose of education only, and it does not make any guarantees. We suggest you seek out the help of your broker, coach, mentor, CPA, or attorney. Brought to you by Darren Tunstall, California DRE number 018534445.